Greetings, citizens. My name is Reginald James, and I'm a student here at College of Alameda. And today I will be portraying Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was born into slavery at a time when it was illegal to teach those enslaved how to read. He was taught by the mistress of his home briefly until she was punished by the master for teaching this slave how to read. And so he tricked neighborhood boys into learning how to read. This speech I'm going to read today is called, "What Does the 4th of July Mean to the Negro?" And it was delivered in 1852. Fellow citizens, I am not wanting in respect for the fathers of this republic. The signers of the Declaration of Independence were brave men. They were great men, too great enough to give frame to a great age. It does not happen often to a nation to raise at one time such a number of truly great men. The point from which I am compelled to view them is not certainly the most favorable. And yet I cannot contemplate their great deeds with less than admiration. They were statesmen, patriots, and heroes. And for the good they did and the principles they contended for, I will unite with you to honor their memory. Fellow citizens, pardon me, allow me to ask, why am I called here? Why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I, or those I represent, to do with your national independence? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us? And am I therefore called upon to bring our humble offering to the national altar and to confess the benefits and express devout gratitude for the blessings resulting from your independence to us? I say it with a great sense of disparity between us. I am not included within the pale of your glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought light and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. To drag a man in feathers into the grand illuminated temple of liberty and call upon him to join you in joyous anthems where inhumane mockery and sacrilegious irony. Do you mean, citizens, to mock me by asking me to speak here today? If so, there is parallel to your conduct. And let me warn you that it is dangerous to copy the example of a nation whose crimes, towering up to heaven, were thrown down by the breath of the Almighty, bearing that nation in irreparable ruin. Would you have me argue that man is entitled to liberty? That he is the rightful owner of his own body? You have already declared that. Must I argue the wrongfulness of slavery? Is that a question for Republicans? Is it to be settled by the rules of logic and argumentation? As a matter beset with great difficulty, involving a doubtful application of the principle of justice, hard to be understood? How should I look today in the presence of Americans, dividing and subdividing a discourse to show that men have a natural right to freedom, speaking of it relatively and positively, negatively and affirmatively? To do so would be to make myself look ridiculous and to offer an insult to your understanding. There is not a man beneath the canopy of heaven that is not know that slavery is wrong for him? What am I to argue that it is wrong to make men bruise, to rob them of liberty, to work them without wages, to keep them ignorant of their relations to their fellow men, to beat them with sticks, to flay their flesh with the lash, to load their limbs with irons, to hunt them with dogs, to sell them at auction, to sunder their families, to knock out their teeth, to burn their flesh, to starve them into obedience and submission to their masters? Must I argue that a system thus marked with blood and stained with pollution is wrong? No, I will not. I have better employment for my time and strength than such arguments would imply. What to the American slave is the 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him, more than all other days of the year, the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham, your boasted liberty an unholy license, your national greatness swelling vanity. Your sound of rejoicing are empty and heartless, your national greatness swelling vanity. Your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence. Your shout of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgiving, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombas, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy, a thin veil to cover up crimes which would disgrace a nation of savages. There is not a nation on earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are those of the United States at this very hour. The fiat of the Almighty, let there be light, has yet spent its force. No abuse, no outrage, whether in taste, sports, or avarice, can now hide itself from the all-pervading light. Africa must rise, put on her yet unwoven garment. Ethiopia shall stretch unto her hand unto God. In the fervent aspirations of William Lloyd Garrison, I say, and let every heart join in saying it, Godspeed the year of Jubilee, the world over, when from their gailing chains set free, the oppressed shall vilely bend the knee, and wear the yoke of tyranny. Like brutes no more, that year will come, and freedom's reign to his plundered rights again restore. Godspeed the day when human blood shall cease to flow. In every clime be understood the claims of human brotherhood, and each return for evil good. Not blow for blow, that day will come all feuds to end, and change into a faithful friend each foe. Godspeed the hour, the glorious hour, when none on earth shall exercise a lordly power, nor a tyrant's presence cower, but to all manhood's stature tower. By equal birth, that hour will come, to each, to all, and from his prison house to thrall. Go forth, until that year, day, hour arrive, with head and heart and hand I'll strive, to break the rod and rend the guile, the spoiler of his prey deprived, to witness heaven, and never from my chosen post, whatever the peril or the cost, be driven. Thank you.